And what do you have in mind?
You know, very quickly, you guys answered D plus Kia last round. I guess like this time around, they will have a little bit more brief, but I would go for Vampire Esports. We haven't seen any form of action coming in from them, but I believe that at least they're looking to revitalize themselves because last we saw back in the first day, they didn't really get much done. So I'm pretty sure that they're itching to catch up.
Okay, since our experts quickly picked Hora, so not gonna double that. I'll save Hora for maybe later, maybe.
Mhm.
But this round, since it's the introduction of Group C, I'll pick Bigatron by Vitality. Bring it on.
I love that you've got this tag prepared on your table. Did I accidentally take Vampire out because I know you got a lot of those Vampire jerseys sitting around the side? Did I accidentally yoinked it?
um, Not really. It's not near enough for me to reach out, so it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. I guess like I have to start my own collection. Do we have to fly to Nepal to get a Hora jersey, or maybe somewhere along the lines for DRS as well at the same time? Well, I guess we'll leave that for later. But you guys can tell us who exactly are you rooting for, and of course, make sure once again hit that like as well as subscribe before we kickstart our second match of this evening. So far, Hora's looking absolutely solid. I mean, you see, one game propelled them all the way into the midfield. If they get another good round, I think top 8 is absolutely doable, and we shall see. Is this going to be the same for both BTR as well as these members of Vampire Esports? Because BTR, they're doing okay, but still not at the work rate that we're hoping for, because last we saw PMSL, they had their fair share of struggles. I think same could be said about Vampire Esports, where they were very close, but it was E Arena that eventually emerged to be the grand victors of it all. So I think that this is where they want to really get themselves back into shape before they head to EWC.
Yeah, E-Arena yesterday they have been chilling. And that's why they're page number 3. But from whatever that we learned from the previous round, Hora Esports, yesterday they were chilling as well. They were at page number 3, but they put in a good performance and they're starting to climb up now. So who knows, E-Arena could be one of those teams, trying to feel the ground, trying to feel the lobby on day 1, and day 2 is the time that they will really strike back. So a team that definitely we want to keep an eye on as well. E-Arena, they are PMSL Southeast Asia champions for a reason. So we got to keep an eye on this team that has put in a solid performance during that time. Now, the thing is that Group C, they're making their debut. But Group A, they played round number 1. So they're pretty warmed up right now. So I would expect a certain level of challenge from teams from Group A.
Yeah, true enough. And when we take a look at some of these drop spots, I believe traditionally wherever Vampire Esports land in Miramar, most often than not, Picado will always see certain challengers moving into that scenario. So I'm kind of second guessing on my own pick because I don't know if they will win that fight when they do drop into areas like Picado. And if they do, then good. They can actually play for a whole lot more. E-Arena, now that you mention it, they've always had a very strong pattern of play in most part. But I believe a lot of these teams who are going to be playing in the EWC aren't going to fully reveal their cards on how their game plan is going to be like. So maybe that's one of the reasons why you're looking at, teams like Alter Ego having a little bit of slow start. Void Donkey shows you a little bit of cards and then holds back a little bit more. They kind of want to see if they could try many different alternatives in the form of their game plans.
Well, Alpha 7 is going to play at PNWC and they showed their cards in game 1. So I guess it really depends on the teams, right? Because the thing about PUBG Mobile Esports is that you have like 16 teams to observe. So that's a lot of teams to observe and also compare. It's not like one team versus one team and you can truly analyze to the ground because they have to readapt to each other every single round. And the fact that we are doing a round robin format, every round is going to be different. Every round is going to be a new map as well. So readaptation is going to be hard and fast for these teams. Let's see how do they readapt as we fly into Miramar.
Here we go, right through the very southern platform coming in from Puerto Paraiso, headed into the corners of what I assume to be either El Pozo or even what was known as Ruins. Or should I just name it Alcantara for now? Well, Ruins is still available. It's just that nobody really drops there these days. But there's definitely interesting options such as Cartona all the way down south, where D plus Kia, they're moving very swiftly into the southern corner of the map. Going to be joined by none other than KN hailing from the Japanese region. And of all teams, I'm definitely very interested onto how exactly will they actually wow us, because one of the last iterations that I recall very well that played super well globally was Bluebees, and it's definitely been a while since then.
Yeah, I remember Blue Bees when they came into the global stage. They revolutionized the DBS, and I remember that time the DBS was still in the airdrop. So they were one of those teams that everyone else does not pick the DBS at all, and whenever they had the chance to pick an airdrop, they would pick up the DBS. And they made it famous from there. And because of that, the following season, everybody starts using the DBS after looking at how effective it is that the Blue Bees players did use that time.
Yeah, it's crazy how teams can actually be known by setting a certain meta. And now when we talk about meta, it almost feels like almost every single weapon is really up for grabs for these players to really show what they've got. Now, we do get a list of Krypton coming from Alter Ego. It's not going to be the area that they want to bend up, but they have no other choice. RQ 1-for-1, Alter Ego losing a member through the knife by Lapar. And just like that, settles the scores. RRQ starting off strong.
Yeah, and Alter Ego, not that strong, obviously, but oh, wait a second. Rosemary fights back. At least he managed to secure 1 point. In the previous round, Alter Ego went out with 0 points, so this is their first point today. Talked about the arena. They seem to be in a fight with NS Red Force, and I noticed that one of the players of NS Red Force got docked, but no follow-up from here, so it could be one of those long-range knocks, and maybe we'll be back up real soon.
Could be the case. I believe that was being knocked out by NC2 out of E Arena early on. It's just that when it comes down to, mid to long range, it's going to be hard to really secure it. Now, RQ, they're hoping to recommit. It's only going to be Rosemary that they're going to be dealing with, but Rosemary's got quite the artillery, starting off with AR of his own with Scar L, and also the last we saw, he does have a grenade in hand. So the moment that RQ arrives at the scene, they should try to at least prepare for this, and they're not leaving things to chance. So RRQ knows that there's at least 2 more members to go, but he does got no idea whether if Rosemary is alone or otherwise. So Alva, looking at the minimap, he's not too far off, but how much support can he provide? Apparently a whole lot as he takes down Lapar.
And Alva gets taken out. So it's only Rosemary, the final player for Alter Ego, that's still active. So he has to come out with a clutch here against the remaining members of RRQ. Sees one right in front of him. But on the other side, Gen Force is coming in as well, so he will be surrounded. There you go. Front and back, nowhere for Rosemary to go, nowhere for him to hide, and Alter Ego gets eliminated.
Yeah, of all places that they drop, I'm just surprised that these 2 Indonesian teams are going up against each other so early on. I guess like they're trying different locations to see whether if it works out or not, and RQ came up on top. And, traditionally when we look into, the PMSL Indonesian teams, they're very efficient when it comes down to playing inside Miramar. RQ, this happens to be their very best map. As for Alter Ego, they'll always drop over onto the far outskirts over on the south side as well. So I guess this is kind of like that kind of bump in that they didn't really want to. They were trying to contest for some of all these loots. And RQ right now coming up ahead, 4 points. And now we move over into the city of El Pozo, it seems like. I definitely need the confirmation on this one. Is it's gonna be between D Savior as well as Alpha 7, both sides being split across these compounds. And when you're playing in such a vast city, it's always hard to actually secure knocks and damage at least being done over onto Senna. And DX now has a clear idea on what exactly to do with their execution.
Yeah, and this is one of those rare moments that the Xavier play with pseudo names. So they could be trying out players. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Someone maybe trying to recruit some of the finest in Vietnam to create this Vietnam super team. Not that they aren't, they're already a Vietnam super team, but yeah. Trying to find continuity with younger blood, maybe. Maybe. I mean, pseudo names, it could be the exact original roster players. Who knows? As for
Yeah.
BTR, they also play with pseudo names. Look at this. I don't recognize a single player except for Kent, and I believe that's not him.
Asophobia. It could be him. I think we've seen the name Ken playing in some of all these scrims, in some of all these off-season tournaments. So perhaps he's just going to be leading the fray, telling these prodigies what exactly do they expect moving into each round. So we'll have to see. Or you could be right. It's like, oh, coach, can I lend your phone? And I just don't want people to know who I am. It's like, okay, sure, buddy, take it. So yeah, I guess one day we'll find out if BTR is going to go through that major overhaul. And what do you make of BTR's recent performance back in PMSL? Because I think like they're a team that needs pressure to perform.
Well, I guess with their PMSL performance, if that's not enough pressure, I don't know. But maybe we can talk about that in a little bit more as we need to focus on E Arena versus NS Red Force. The fight continues on. Mormon, the starman of E Arena. All the top transfers in PMSL Southeast Asia, showing why he's still the top transfer. Tourniquet on the other side goes in for the 1v1. Jump shot attempt by TZ failed. And Tourniquet with the SLK will finish him off.
Wow, quick work being done right there by each member of E Arena. They still need to go in for the rescue just to pick up for 5-6. He's done some damage. The pickup has gone through, so he just needs to heal up for the moment. While we might have missed some certain glimpse of Joker on his elimination. So E Arena, they come up on top, denting some of these members of Alpha 7, it seems like. So the Longshin Red Force, now that they're currently spread apart, well, I guess we got the confirmation it's actually Longshin Red Force. It's only down to Binny. Binny that actually finds a catch up against 457 again. He just got revive, and now he's going to bleed out very quickly. That grenade, if it prompts into the perfect angle, we might actually see Longshin Red Force perhaps turn the tides around.
You know what? Whenever I see the name Beanie, it reminds me of a wife.
Oh, yeah.
That's in Malaysia language for the benefit of everyone. But one nade, it's all it takes by Tourniquet to finish off the wife itself. NS Red Force gets eliminated by E Arena. Circle-wise, wow, interesting circle. Hard shift to the north.
Very hard shift. I mean, there's almost no teams circulating around those facilities of water treatment, just by the edge of it, so that allows for esports to have a lot of room to play with. That's good notion for them, who has been really climbing up the charts from that previous game, securing a top 3 finish, double digits of elimination points. Finds a little bit of bump in against Mark, one member down from the side of KN. While they're not going to be stopping their tracks for ending at all, they've already lost Kiwi in the mix of the process, so they will just want to secure themselves a good spot to play out the end game around the water treatment area. While Vampire Esports are going to do the same, but I believe there's a member of BTR around that facility, so they have to be very mindful wherever they turn.
Since we have BTR on screen, dropping in a fun fact, the last time it was Kent, it was actually Federalis. So if I were to guess who Kent is, it is Federales himself.
Huh.
So who knows? Who knows? I'm just putting it out there.
It could be very well the case. Well, he's been a staple ever since he transferred from Harame Bros. And now they can get the full glimpse of the entire squad of BTR, damage being done, and Vina has been able to. Very, very oddly familiar. I just couldn't really bring that name out of my mind just yet. But of course, the fans of the Vampire Esports team could definitely tell us who exactly that is. Now, Mela kind of lost his glasses. I believe he might have actually got some LASIK treatment, as he's looking absolutely sharp on his profile picture. Now, at least we have a hunch of who those members are coming from Vampire Esports. We see Schweppes, we see, I believe, well, that's not exactly Victorious, is that?
I guess that Vinajaya, yeah, that's Ventoras there. But for BTR, absolutely no idea who's who. No Nampun, Kyorin, Azaphobia. They don't even have their pictures up here, so yeah, I can't guess.
Well, too bad I didn't pay a visit onto the gaming house as of late. So I could have actually dig for some intel if I knew any better. But take a look at the zone. I mean, D Savior, they're coming up in late. But even later than that is Alpha 7. Take a look how far they are. They're still stuck inside of El Pozo. They got a long journey ahead. Maybe this might work out if all the other teams have already traversed all the way into this hardship. It's going further onto the outskirts of Cruz de Val. And look who's there. D plus Kia, they booked themselves a prime location. Can't really say the same about whoever's over on the west or even the south side. There's going to be a lot of these fights coming by the end of stage 3.
Quite a crazy hard shift again for this circle. The Vikings, guess who came out on the board? Mr. Superman that took out a player of E Arena, now leading them with 2 active players. And looks like they're in the fight here. Turning K now down on the ground, leaving only 4, 5, 6 alone here. And Superman knows exactly where he is. That one nade put his health down to 50%. If Superman can land this one more nade, the splash damage should be enough to finish him off. It did connect, but not enough damage. And here comes Break from the side. There goes. It is at the end of the day, Superman that landed the final blow. E Arena from a solid start to an elimination.
The Vikings are looking super clean today. I mean, take a look at that. 3 points without much of a scratch, and now Ken is going to be down. We can assume that's Federalis. But each step of the way, withering down all these units. One more off of the side of BTR. They do claim the high ground, but what could they make good use of this? Because we last saw these Vampire Esports have been able to track the entirety of their position. It's just that they're not going for a closer. Over onto the far flank, hoping to find some of all of these angles to clip against the rest of BTR.
Note that Vampire, they're playing without Tony K, their star player. Asaphobia needs time to heal up. Ventoras will be gunned out by Nodambe. Asaphobia down to the ground as well. Siege down by Vampire Esports. Mela here in the 1v1. But his teammates is on the other side. Here comes the other player of BTR on the outside of this wall. 2v1, 3v1. They should have the numbers against them. And BTR eliminated by Vampire Esports.
Great damage being done from the member of BTR, but just not quite enough to really settle it with a very well-coordinated ambush coming in from those members of Vampire Esports. They gotta quickly revitalize themselves because that zone is getting clipped. One of them includes Horror Esports right now. Outside the zone, the well now being pepper sprayed from the top of the hill. Pins! Making it hard for him. The well trying to cook up that grenade into perfection. Oh, bullets ready from a bow, and he still managed to connect it. Unfortunately, he will be down. KF salvaging whatever's left out of that scuffle. MVKE now tries to go in for that full revive and to continue on with the battle. They gotta do it real quick. Woonti also joining the fray. Blue squad slowly getting wintered down one after another. They should be able to pick up those points eventually, as they have been suppressed. The Horror Esports, they're now zoning out the entirety of the EX. How much damage can No Fear do?
Oh, a lot more fights happening elsewhere. Look at the elimination feed going crazy. Baseline and Vampire Esports in the fight, and looks like Vampire just got eliminated. Number 12 with 5 elimination points for them. Well, one player still down, and they're out in the open. Horror Esports right in front. We have No Fear here, scoping down, hoping for them to land into his crosshair. Sleepy gets gunned down, while D Xavier, they're trying to recover, but it doesn't help with the fact that the zone is now on top of them.
Arjun so far looking super sharp so far. At least that buys them a little bit more that the room as well space. Levi's now needing to heal up as in the nick of time. He will be able to clutch it with that first aid kit. Oh, thankful enough, but now he gets a glimpse of No Fear as he's sending 2504 up the hillside. Damage being done. No Fear not quite enough to get the knock over on the corner. So it's gonna be a 2 versus 1. How much damage can No Fear do right now? As Levi's hoping to at least block some of all these vision control coming in from that member of Horror Esports. And he's still going to propel up ahead. There's no way to go out of this field other than to butt his way out. 2-5-4-4. Trying to actually fend him up, but he goes down instead. No Fear! What was that?
Okay, even though pressure by the blue, even though on the lower ground, but still able to secure that one elimination point. No Fear, he has the 3 versus, but he won't have the time to heal up right now. He has to get Levi's, and he will! No Fear still got him, despite he will go out to the blue, but still, he took out the Xavier.
Wow, that was huge. And just like that, it was expecting him to be over on the corner, and just like that, that last stand played out to perfection. No Fear at least puts a dent to their run. While FaZe Clan are tagging on to those members of Claw Slayers. Only Bubble left over onto the outer sector, while these two members are on the lower ground. And look at the other far end. Pepeng is going to be trying to find a little bit more of a salvage point just to suppress Chopper at the moment, or else the two members of Claw Slayers will slowly bleed out to death. So FaZe Clan holding them hostage. It's like, if you really want to go for the save, you got to fight this for it.
Claw Annie, are you walking? Are you walking, Annie? Clearly not walking. He's crawling right now because he needs his teammates to heal him up. Bobo Hood idea goes down, leaving only Pepeng alone. And Annie, are you walking? You're walking back to the lobby. Unfortunate for them, FaZe Clan will not let them go. And Pepeng now 1v1 against Canary, while the other members of FaZe Clan coming in. They still don't have the zone. The circle shifts away.
Well, am I going to say that there? You've been hit by a smooth FaZe Clan. Just like that, 9 points on the table right now for the Thai squad, as this has been their best run in Miramar so far, and we're not even closing in just yet. 8-14. Made 87, trying the best to sustain wall Chopper, getting ambushed as the rest of Blue Squad arrive from